Don't worry, I'll tell them. Neither Christmas or Halloween is pagan. Come at me, bro. I've already dealt with Christmas extensively in this video. There is no evidence any major tradition associated with Christmas comes from paganism. But Halloween is right around the corner, which means everyone who gets their history from memes is about to tell us that Halloween comes from the ancient pagan Celtic festival of Samhain. The problem is we have no early sources which indicate the date of Samhain. It was probably celebrated sometime in the fall, but we're not sure on the exact date. As historian Ronald Hutton says, it must be concluded therefore that the medieval records furnish no evidence that 1st November was a major pan-Celtic festival. According to St. Bede, September was called Holy Month, which may be indicative of certain pagan festivals that were celebrated during that time. He also says November was called Blood Month because of an annual sacrifice to the gods. But we're not given any dates on which Celtic fall festivals were observed. In all likelihood, the day on which Celtic festivals were observed probably varied from year to year, because Bede also says they calculated their seasons according to the cycles of the moon. Halloween did not come from Samhain, it just means All Hallows' Eve, which is the eve of All Saints' Day on November 1st. In the earliest centuries of Christianity, Christians in different regions had a day on which they would honor all saints or martyrs. In Celtic regions, that day was actually April 20th, not November 1st. Bede's martyrology from the 8th century does not mention that All Saints' Day was on November 1st. But by the 9th century, Christians in Germanic regions were celebrating All Saints' Day on November 1st, and then it spread to the rest of Christendom from there. As the historian Ronald Hutton tells us, it had not however started in Ireland, where the Felire of Óengus and the Martyrology of Tallow prove that the early medieval churches celebrated the Feast of All Saints upon 20 April. This makes nonsense of the notion that the November date was chosen because of Celtic influence. Rather, both Celtic Europe and Rome followed a Germanic idea. Over time, All Hallows' Eve became associated with the dead, and it wasn't until European traditions were blended in America that we got the modern holiday of Halloween. As for Samhain, we have no evidence it was a celebration of the dead, and we're not sure on which day it occurred, although it probably occurred annually sometime in November. So Halloween is actually an entirely Christian holiday in origin, although it has been modified over the centuries to become something entirely other at this point.